Good morning, Veritas. Today is Tuesday, May 19th, 2020. I hope everybody is doing well. Let's jump right into today's assignment in your Google Classroom. Looks like this. These are the first three problems, then I'll make a challenge problem in a few minutes. I want everybody to try the challenge problem today because it's a volume problem, and that is what you're being graded on this week, is volume. So number 1 is what you're being graded on this week, but also I would like you to try number 4 because it's not too hard. I want you to try that all-star challenge problem after this. Okay, so let's get to number 1. It says the volume of a rectangular prism is 72 inches cubed, or to the third power. They call that cubed. Okay, so that means inches times inches times inches. So there's 3 dimensions. It's going to be a 3D shape. Okay, the length is 4 inches and the width is 6 inches. What's the height of the rectangular prism? Okay, so a rectangular prism is a 3D rectangle. Okay, it's got length, width, and height. So they give you that volume is length times width times height. They will give you that on the MCAS, so you'll have that formula on the sheet, the reference sheet that they give you. I just drew a 3D rectangular prism, and then I'm going to read the problem again. The volume of the rectangular prism is 72 inches cubed. So the volume is 72 inches cubed. It's cubed because length times width times height. There's 3 of them, inches times inches times inches. So when you have an exponent, it's inches times itself 3 times. Inches times inches times inches. Okay, so 72 inches cubed equals, let's see, length times width times height. The length is 4 inches. 4 inches times. The width is 6 inches. So let's use this formula. Volume is length 4 times width 6 times the height. We don't know the height. That's what we're going to have to solve for. That's what the question's asking. What's the height of the rectangular prism? So we know it's going to be in inches. So I'm going to put inches on my line now because everything's been in inches. Inches times inches. We need 1 more inches for height to make inches cubed. Okay, so let's take a look at this shape here. We got a length of 4, a width of 6, and a height of, we don't know. That's what we're solving for. But we know that all together they equal 72. So let's do 72 equals, let's do the 4 times 6, which is 24, times the height. So all we did so far was multiply the 2 factors that we have, 4 and 6. 4 times 6 are 24. So 72 equals 24 times how much? So now we're basically counting by 24s until we get to 72. We could do 72 divided by 24 is how much? But let's just count by 24s because 24 and 72 are relatively close to each other. So we'll just do 24 plus 24 is 48. So that's 24 times 1. 24 times 2 is 48. Now let's add 24 again. That's 12, 4, 5, 6, 72. So that's 24 times 3 is 72. And let's check that one more time with multiplication. 24 times 3, 4 times 3 is 12, 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. Yes, so 24 times 3 is 72. So our height is 3. 72 equals 24 times 3. So the height is 3. All right, so the answer is 3 inches. We have 4 inches times 6 inches times 3 inches, and when we multiply those together, we get 72. Inches times inches times inches is inches to the third power, or inches cubed. So that is our answer for number 1. If you got 3 inches, give yourself some snaps. Nice work. That was tough, but it definitely helps to draw a model. It helps me when I draw a model, so I recommend that you try that every time. All right, let's get to number 2. It says complete the following inequality. We've been using this word a lot, but again, if you don't know this word, try to use some other clues from the problem to help you figure out what you need to do, even if you see this word that you may not know. So complete the following inequality using the correct symbol, less than, greater than, equal to. Okay, so even if I didn't know what an inequality means, I know that I need to use those symbols, less than, greater than, or equal to. So we're saying this side is less than, greater than, or equal to this side. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to use what we learned yesterday about multiplying whole numbers times fractions. So I notice already we are multiplying 4 times a fraction, and this side we're multiplying 4 times a fraction. So they both have the whole number of 4, and they're both multiplied by a fraction. So when we multiply 4 times a fraction that's less than 1, it's 3/4, it's less than 1 whole, right? The whole would be 4/4. So 3/4 is not quite a whole. It's less than a whole. So 4 times a fraction that's less than 1, our answer, our product, is going to be less than 4. Because we're multiplying this whole number, just like we did yesterday, times a fraction that's less than 1. So 4 times 1 would be 4. So 4 times a fraction that's less than 1 is going to be less than 4. Now if we look at this side, we're multiplying 4 times a fraction here, but this fraction, 7/5, is greater than 1, because 5/5 would be 1 whole. We have 7/5, so we have more than 1. So when we multiply 4 times 1, we would have 4. So if we multiply 4 times a number that's greater than 1, our answer, our product of 4 times that fraction that's greater than 1 is going to be greater than 4. Right? If you multiply 4 times a number that's more than 1, it's going to be more than 4. It's going to get greater. So when we look at the fractions, we're multiplying them both times 4. This is less than 1, so less than 1 times 4 is going to be less than 4. More than 1 times 4 is going to be more than 4. So now we have a product that's less than 4, and this side is a product that's greater than 4. So we know that this side is more than this side. So 4 times 3/4 is less than 7/5 times 4. 7/5 times 4 is greater than 4 times 3/4. So we put the less than symbol here because you read it from left to right. 4 times 3/4 is less than 7/5 times 4. And the way we know that is because we're multiplying the same whole number, 4. This is times a fraction that's less than 1, so it's going to be less than 4. This is times a fraction that's greater than 1, so it's going to be greater than 4. If this is less than 4 and that's greater than 4, we know that this side is less than this side. Give yourself some snaps. That was pretty tricky. That's something we just kind of learned yesterday, so don't be upset if you didn't get that right, but now I want you to look carefully as we continue to practice more and more of these. Okay, so we did volume, we did an inequality, now we are on the area of a square. So area and volume are similar. Volume is 3D, 3 dimensions, length times width times height. Area is 2D, 2 dimensions, length times width. Just 2 dimensions. So area is 2 dimensions, where volume is 3 dimensions. So volume would be for a 3D shape. The amount of space that it takes up inside is its volume. That's with 3 dimensions. But area is just 2 dimensions. So it's something that you can like draw on a paper. It's not something that stands up 3D. So the area of a square, we got to know a little bit about squares, is 36. So the formula, they'll give you this on the MCAS, this is number 3. Area equals length times width. You just have 2 dimensions, the length and the width, to make area. So I'm going to draw a square to help me with this. What you need to know about a square is that all sides are equal. For a polygon or a shape to be a square, all of the sides need to be equal and there need to be 4 right angles. So we have 4 right angles in the corners. And all of these sides, 1, 2, 3, 4 sides, are all equal if it is a square. And the problem says that it's a square. So the area of a square is 36. So the area is 36. Notice it's centimeters squared with the 2. Where up here was inches cubed with the 3. That's because we did 3 dimensions here. Length times width times height. For area, we're just doing 2 dimensions. And there's a 2 there because it's length times width. Centimeters times centimeters gives us centimeters squared. Okay, so if the area, I'm just going to use this formula, 36 equals length times width, what times what gets us to 36? Now the tricky part, if you didn't get this right, what you forgot was this, that all sides are equal. So I had some kids, when I did this problem back in school, they weren't able to figure it out. They said 9 and 4, because you're right, 9 times 4 is 36, but it wouldn't be a square if it was 9 for the length and 4 for the width, because all the sides need to be the same. So what's the same number that can be the length and the width that will equal 36? What times what? The same number is 36. And the answer is 6. 6 times 6 is 36. Since it's a square, 6 centimeters, 6 centimeters. If they're all 6 centimeters, then we have a square because all the sides are the same. We have 6 times 6 is 36. Centimeters times centimeters is 36 centimeters squared because there's 2 dimensions. Okay, so what's the length of the square? It's 6 centimeters. Please include the unit of measurement. It's centimeters. What's the height of the square? 6 centimeters. It's a little bit of a tricky problem. The length and the height. So area is length times width or length times height. Either way, what you need to know is that area is 2 dimensions. You only have 2 dimensions. Length times height, I guess, is a better way to say it. Sorry, I said width earlier. But same thing. One side times the other side in a 2-dimensional shape. You notice it's not like this one where you can see it almost popping up off of the paper. It's only 2 dimensions. There is no height because it's not 3D, right? There is no width because it's not 3D. It's just length and height. Okay, so 6 times 6. So length is 6 centimeters, height is 6 centimeters, and that gives us the area of 36 because 6 times 6 is 36. Centimeters squared because it's centimeters times centimeters. And that's it. Give yourself some snaps. Nice work today. Okay, hope everybody has a great day. We'll see you guys later. Please watch the All-Star Challenge video today. I want you to try that, get some extra practice with volume. All right, have a great day.